Welcome to the Madison Miller Podcast. Today is Friday, January 14th, 2022. Today I'm going to recap yesterday's college basketball, NBA, and NHL games, look ahead to tonight and the weekend's games in each sport. I'll do my NFL wild card round picks. I should say NFL super wild card round picks. And then I'll go over the leaderboard at the Sony Open. We'll do news and notes and best bet of the day. No more Fab Five because the playoff picks are the big picks now. College basketball is where we'll start today. I'll do a quick recap of yesterday's games and look ahead to tonight and the weekend. Kennesaw State over Florida Gulf Coast 77-53. DePaul over number 20 Seton Hall 96-92. Stanford over Washington State 62-57. Army over BU 73-63. App State over Coastal Carolina 61-60. Number 13, Wisconsin over number 16, Ohio State, 78-68. Number 19, Texas Tech over Oklahoma State, 78-57. Niagara over Canisius, 68-58. Loyola, Maryland over Lafayette, 74-60. Lehigh over Bucknell, 97-64. Butler over Georgetown, 72-58. Colgate over Navy, 69-50. Old Dominion over UTSA, 83-51. North Texas over Marshall, 69-65. Louisiana Tech over Southern Miss, 80-57. Middle Tennessee State over Florida Atlantic, 70-57. Charlotte over UTEP, 66-53. Winthrop over Asheville, 86-80 in overtime. Wright State over Robert Morris, 75-73. Northern Kentucky over Youngstown State, 68-67. Oakland over Cleveland State, 70-65. Purdue Fort Wayne over Detroit Mercy, 62-60. Mercer over VMI, 97-91. The Citadel over UNC Greensboro, 74-69. UAB over FIU, 84-56. Murray State over Tennessee State, 67-44. Tim Houston over Lamar, 73-56. Texas Rio Grande over Chicago State, 85-63. UIC over Milwaukee, 81-77. Green Bay over IUPUI, 69-54. Texas State over Yale Monroe, 80-56. UT Arlington over Louisiana, 83-73. South Dakota over Denver, 80-71. Western Illinois over North Dakota, 73-68. Belmont over Tennessee Tech, 92-77. South Dakota State over Omaha, 95-86. SIU Edwardsville over Eastern Illinois, 66-53. WKU over Rice, 80-66. Weber State over Idaho, 84-74. Grand Canyon over Abilene Christian, 95-68. New Mexico State over Tarleton, 73-57. South Alabama over Georgia State, 74-65. Iowa over Indiana, 83-74. Oregon over number 3 UCLA, 84-81 in overtime. What a big win for Oregon. Long Beach State over UC Santa Barbara, 65-58. Cal State Fullerton over Cal State Northridge, 79-64. UC Riverside over Cal Poly, 57-46. San Diego over Portland, 68-63 in overtime. Number 2 Gonzaga over BYU, 110-84. Number 5 USC over Oregon State, 81-71. Number 6 Arizona over Colorado, 76-55. St. Mary's over Pepperdine, 77-62. San Francisco over Loyola Marymount, 97-73, and Hawaii over UC Irvine, 72-56. Now we look ahead to a small window for tonight. 6 o'clock, CBS Sports Network, Buffalo and Ball State. My projections are Buffalo by 7 5/8, total 154-25. And the lines are Buffalo 7.5, total 161.5. I'm going with the under. 6:30 Fox Sports 1, Nebraska number 7, Purdue. My prediction, Purdue 21, total 152, and it's 20 and 155. 2 picks, 2 unders. 7 o'clock, Siena Marist. My projection is Marist by 7 5/8, total 136.85. Meanwhile, it's 5 and 130. I love the over. Quinnipiac and Ryder. Projections, Ryder 10.5, total 140.7. Meanwhile, it's 1 and 145.5. I'm going to lay the 1 with Ryder. Monmouth St. Peter's, the New Jersey Bowl. My projection is Monmouth by 1 1/4, total 135.9. Meanwhile, it's 5 and 132.5. Give me St. Peter's plus the points. I think they can win outright, too, against Monmouth. ESPNU, Manhattan, Iona, great game. My projection is Iona 19.5 total 143.3. And it's 15 and 147. I'm going to lay to 15 with Iona. 7:30 ESPN2 VCU St. Bonaventure. My projection is St. Bonaventure by 7.5 total 131. Meanwhile, it's 3 and 130. I'm laying the 3 at Bonaventure. 8 o'clock CBS Sports Network. Akron, Kent State. Kent State 5.25 total 134.35. Meanwhile, it's 1.5 and 133.5. I'm laying the 1.5 with Kent State. 9 o'clock on Fox Sports 1, Michigan at number 25, Illinois. My projection, Illinois 9, total 142.55. Meanwhile, it's 10 and 145. I'm going to take the under. Davidson and Richmond on ESPNU. My projection is Richmond by 4 and 5/8, total 143.3. Meanwhile, it is a pick and 143.5. Give me Richmond in a pick'em. And last but not least, 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock on Fox Sports 1, Fresno State and UNLV. My projection is Fresno by 1.25, total 129.2. Meanwhile, it's Fresno 1.5, total 129.5. These are the closest the numbers have been for anything. So, slight over on that game. All right, now we'll look ahead to the weekend. 12 o'clock, Big Ten Network on Saturday, Northwestern, number 10, Michigan State. On Fox, Creighton, number 17, Xavier. ESPN 2, number 19, Texas Tech, Kansas State. Fox Sports 1, number 20, Seton Hall, Marquette. 12:30 on USA Network, Dayton, Duquesne. 1 o'clock ESPN, number 22, Tennessee, and number 18, Kentucky. UTSA, Charlotte, St. Francis, Brooklyn, Wagner. Mount St. Mary's, Bryant. Vermont, UMBC. Hartford, UMass Lowell. Oakland, Purdue, Fort Wayne. VMI, The Citadel. SEC Network, Florida, South Carolina. 1:30 CBS, West Virginia at number 9, Kansas. 2 o'clock on ABC, NC State at number 8, Duke. ESPN 2, Arkansas at number 12, LSU. Number 21, Texas. Number 15, Iowa State. SMU, Tulane. Fairleigh Dickinson, Sacred Heart. Central Connecticut, Long Island. SC Upstate, UNC Asheville. Radford, Campbell. Harvard, Columbia. Dartmouth, Penn. Cornell, Yale. Brown, Princeton. App State, Coastal Carolina. Western Illinois, North Dakota State. Wofford, Western Carolina. UMC Greensboro, Mercer. Delaware, Hofstra. Drexel, Northeastern. Miami of Ohio, Western Michigan. Big Ten Network, Rutgers, Maryland. 2:30 on USA, Fordham, St. Louis. 3 o'clock, Stephen F. Austin, Sam Houston. St. Francis, PA, Merrimack. Gardner Webb, Longwood. On ESPN, Florida State, Syracuse. IUPUI, Milwaukee. UM Monroe, UT Arlington. Denver, South Dakota State. CBS Sports Network, Furman, Chattanooga. East Tennessee State, Sanford. 3:30, Detroit, Cleveland State. SEC Network, Texas A&M, Missouri. Fox Sports 1, Boise State and New Mexico. 4 o'clock, number 2, Gonzaga at Santa Clara. Norfolk State, Howard. NC Central, SC State. Memphis, East Carolina. Pac-12 Network, Cal, Washington State. Coppin State, Morgan State. UC Riverside, Cal State, Bakersfield. Morgan State, Tennessee State. Texas Southern, Alcorn State. North Texas, Western Kentucky. FAU, UAB. Northern Arizona, Northern Colorado. Dixie State, Seattle. Chicago State, Lamar. ACC Network, Louisville, Pitt. NJIT, Albany. Kennesaw State, Stetson. North Alabama, Central Arkansas. ESPN 2, Oklahoma, TCU. James Madison, William & Mary. Towson, Alon. 4:30, Tennessee Tech, Tennessee Martin. Incarnate Word, Texas A&M, Corpus Christi. Wake, Virginia. Rhode Island, UMass. Ohio, Central Michigan. Eastern Illinois, Northern Illinois. 5 o'clock, ESPN, Oklahoma State at number 1, Baylor. Bethune-Cookman, Mississippi Valley State. Murray State, Belmont. Portland State, Sacramento State. Northwestern State, Southeast Louisiana. Nichols, New Orleans. Houston Baptist, McNeese. Jacksonville, North Florida. Bellarmine, Lipscomb. Louisiana, Texas State. Georgia Southern, South Alabama. Missouri State, Valpo. Omaha, South Dakota. Toledo, Bowling Green. 5 o'clock, CBS Sports Network. Nevada Air Force. 5:30, Alabama and Alabama State. Presbyterian, Hampton. Winthrop, Charleston Southern. 6 o'clock, SEC Network, number 24, Alabama at Mississippi State. Pac-12 Network, Stanford, Washington. FIU, Middle Tennessee. Abilene Christian, New Mexico State. ACC Network, Notre Dame, Virginia Tech. ESPN2, Vanderbilt, Georgia. Colorado State, San Jose State. 6:30, Prairie View, Jackson State. Southern Grambling. Florida A&M, Arkansas, Pine Bluff. BC, Clemson. New Hampshire, Stony Brook. ESPNU, 7 o'clock. UCF, South Florida. Cal State, Northridge, Long Beach State. UTEP, Old Dominion. Rice Marshall, NCAT, High Point. Liberty, Florida, Gulf Coast. Jacksonville State, Eastern Kentucky. Rice State, Youngstown State. Northern Kentucky, Robert Morris. UIC, Green Bay. CBS Sports Network, Loyola Chicago, Indiana State. 7:30, Pacific, St. Mary's. 8 o'clock, Pac-12 Network, Utah, number 6, Arizona. ESPN2, number 11, Houston and Tulsa. Idaho State. Portland, Pepperdine. ACC Network, Georgia Tech, North Carolina. Northern Iowa, Southern Illinois. Oral Roberts, UMKC. 8:30, SEC Network, number 4, Auburn, Ole Miss. 9 o'clock, UC Santa Barbara and Cal State Fullerton. ESPNU, Tarleton and Grand Canyon. Loyola Marymount, San Diego. Wyoming, Utah State. 10 o'clock, ESPN2, Colorado, Arizona State. UC Davis, Cal Poly. Utah Valley, Cal Baptist. Pac-12 Network, 10:30, Oregon State at number 3, UCLA. 11 o'clock, Fox Sports 1, Oregon and number 5, USC. CBS Sports Network, BYU, San Francisco. And at midnight, UC San Diego, Hawaii. Now we look ahead to Sunday. 12 o'clock, Fox Sports 1, Butler, number 14, Villanova. Big Ten Network, Penn State, number 16, Ohio State. 1 o'clock, ESPN, Cincinnati, Wichita State. Navy, BU. Binghamton, Maine. Niagara, Iona. 2 o'clock, Army, Lafayette. Loyola, Lehigh. Bucknell, American. Monmouth, Marist. Fairfield, Quinnipiac. Canisius, Manhattan. St. Peter's, Rider. Big Ten Network, Iowa, Minnesota. 3 o'clock, Louisiana Tech, Southern Miss. 4:30 on Fox. After the NFL playoff game, you got Georgetown, St. John's. Is that game at the Garden? Yes, it is. 6 o'clock, CBS Sports Network, Holy Cross, Colgate. And at 8 o'clock, Bradley and Illinois State. All right, now move on to the NBA. We will recap the games from last night, and we will look ahead to a busy weekend. Bucks over the Warriors, 118-99. That was a blowout from the get-go. Grizzlies over the Timberwolves, 116-108. Pelicans over the Clippers, 113-89. Thunder over the Nets, 130-109. And the Nuggets over the Blazers, 140-108. Friday, 7 o'clock. Magic Hornets. Projections. Charlotte 21.25, total 221.6. Meanwhile, it is 11 and 225. I'm going to lay the 11 with Charlotte. Raptors Pistons. I project Toronto by 13.5, total 213.35. Meanwhile, it is 8 and 214. I'll lay the 8 with Toronto. Suns Pacers. I project Phoenix by 13.25, total 216.2. Meanwhile, it's 5 and 220. I'm laying the 5 with Phoenix. Celtics 76ers. My projection is Sixers by 2.5, total 213.3. Meanwhile, it's 4 and 212.5. Close numbers here, but slight lean Celtics plus the 4. 7:30 ESPN. Warriors Bulls. Mike Breen and Jeff Van Gundy will be on the call. My projection is Bulls 2.5, total 215.25. Meanwhile, it's 4 and 222. I'll go under. No Klay Thompson. And some bench pieces for Golden State out. No Draymond either, but that may hurt the defense. So I understand that high total. Hawks Heat at 8 o'clock. My projection is Miami by 8 and 5/8, total 217.2. Meanwhile, it's 4.5 and 221.5. I'm gonna lay the 4.5 with the Heat. 8:30 Cavs Spurs. My projection is the Cavs by 1.5, total 215.8. Well, it's 3.5 and 220. I'm taking the under. 10 o'clock ESPN. Mavs Grizzlies. Great game. My projection is Memphis by 7 and 3/8, total 214.45. Meanwhile, it is 2.5 and 214.5. I'm laying the 2.5 with Memphis. And then The Rockets and the Kings might project in Sacramento by 10 and a quarter, total 223.7. Meanwhile, it's 4.5 and 238. Ooh, I like the under. That is such a high total. All right, now we look ahead to the weekend. 6:30 Saturday, Raptors, Bucks. 7 o'clock, Trailblazers, Wizards. 7:30, Knicks, Hawks. Pelicans, Nets. 8 o'clock, 76ers, Heat. Cavs, Thunder. 8:30, Bulls, Celtics, Clippers, Spurs. 9 o'clock, NBA TV, Lakers, Nuggets. 9:30, Magic, Mavs. Sunday, 1 o'clock, Suns, Pistons. 6 o'clock, Rockets, Kings. 8 o'clock, Warriors, Timberwolves. And Jazz, Nuggets. All right, now we'll look back on the NHL from last night and look ahead to today and the weekend. Bruins over the Flyers, 3-2. Lightning over the Canucks, 4-2. Blue Jackets over the Hurricanes, 6-zip. Jets over the Red Wings, 3-zip. Isles over the Devils, 3-2. Blues over the Kraken, 2-1. Sabres over the Preds, 4-1. Blackhawks over the Canadiens, 3-2 in overtime. Senators over the Flames, 4-1. Kings over the Penguins, 6-2. And the Rangers over the Sharks, 3-0. Now we look ahead to tonight, 7 o'clock. You have the Stars and the Panthers on the NHL Network. Florida minus 220, Dallas plus 180, over under 6.5, overs minus 102, unders minus 120. Stars plus 1.5 is minus 144, Panthers minus 1.5 is plus 118. I'm going to go with over 6.5 at minus 102. 8 o'clock, Ducks Wild. Wild minus 166, Ducks plus 138, over under 5.5, overs minus 122, unders even money. Ducks plus 1.5 is minus 196, Wild minus 1.5 is plus 158. This is a tough one. I like under 5.5 at even money. A lot. 9 o'clock, Coyotes, Avs. Avs minus 650, Coyotes plus 460, over under 6.5, overs minus 134, unders plus 110. Coyotes minus 2.5 is minus 122. Coyotes plus 2.5 is even money. I think they're overinflating every Avalanche game. Like, the favoritism the Avs get in the market is ridiculous. They're not even in first place in their own freaking division. They're in third. But they're coming, though. But I like the under 6.5 and plus 110. Like, the Avs can win this game 5-0, for crying out loud. All right, big window Saturday, 1 o'clock, Preds, Bruins. Canucks, Hurricanes. 2 o'clock, NHL Network, Caps, Islanders. 6 o'clock, Blue Jackets, Panthers. Sabres, Red Wings at 7. Stars, Lightning. Rangers, Flyers. Maple Leafs, Blues. 8:30, Ducks, Blackhawks. 9 o'clock, Avalanche, Coyotes. 10 o'clock, Kings, Kraken, Sens, Oilers. And 10:30, the Penguins at the Sharks. Sunday, 2 o'clock on the NHL Network, one game, the Canucks and the Capitals. All right, for the moment you guys been waiting for, NFL wild card round picks. 2 games Saturday, 3 games Sunday, 1 game Monday. It's going to be a lot of fun. And I think there are great games to boot. All right, Saturday, 4 o'clock on NBC, Raiders-Bengals. So you would think that this is the Mike Tirico, Drew Brees game. I project Cincinnati by 3, total 48-5. Meanwhile, it is 4.5 and 49. This line was 5.5 earlier in the week, but the Raiders are getting a lot of money. So I'm going to go with the slight lean to the Raiders here. So Raiders plus 4.5 is the pick here for this game. But I do think Cincinnati may potentially win, maybe by like 2 points or something like that. 8:15 on CBS, Patriots, Bills. You would think that this is Iron Eagle. And who's Iron Eagle's partner? Charles Davis in the NFL? I believe so. Let's see. who Iron Eagles partner is. I'm going to look at who's calling each game, so I know it's Iron Eagle for play-by-play for this game. Charles Davis, yes, and I was right about Tirico and Breeze on the other game. So I project Buffalo by 4.5, total 45-2. Meanwhile, it's 4-44. So very close to what I have. So my pick for this one is going to be a slight over. The case is that there'll be more scoring than you may think. Worst case scenario, this is a push. And I have a slight lean towards Buffalo 2. 1 o'clock on Fox, the Eagles and the Buccaneers. Joe Buck, Troy Aikman on the call with Tom Rinaldi and Aaron Andrews. My projection, Bucks 9, total 49-8. Meanwhile, 8.5 and 45.5. I love the over in this game. I think that the Bucks offense will be able to score on the Eagles. And I believe that the Eagles, with a banged-up Bucks defense, will score a little bit too. So I like over 45.5 in that game. 4:30 CBS. Jim Nantz, Tony Romo on the call, and Tracy Wolfson. 49ers, Cowboys. I project Cowboys by 6, so 49-45. Meanwhile, it is 3-51. I love Dallas in this game. Love it. I think they have the better quarterback, the better team, the better defense, the better offense, better all around. Everybody loves the 49ers. I feel like they're everybody's darling. And Kyle Shanahan, Jimmy Garoppolo's playing great. I understand that. And they have a lot of moving pieces to their team. George Kittle's healthy. I get all that. But I think the Cowboys are being disrespected here. And I think that they're going to come out and put a good performance out. And they're going to cover the number. So I like the Cowboys minus the 3 at home. I think there will be some San Fran fans in the building. But the Cowboys, I think, will really put on a nice performance. So give me the minus 3 for the Cowboys against the 49ers. And then we're going to save the Monday pick for Monday. Last but not least for the weekend, Steelers-Chiefs. My projection here is the Chiefs by 6 3/4, total 46-6. Meanwhile, it's 12.5 and 46.5. I'm going to take the Steelers plus the points. It is Ben's last game, in all likelihood. And I think that the Steelers will play with a lot of pride, like they've been over the last few weeks. No, they're not going to win this game. But I do think that their defense will keep them in it, led by TJ Watt, who I think is the second best player playing in this game behind Patrick Mahomes. And ultimately, Mahomes and the Chiefs will win. They could very well win by double digits. I think they will win by 10 points. But 12.5 is way too high. Give me the Steelers plus the 12.5. I won't be shocked if the Chiefs put this game away on a late field goal to put themselves up by double digits at the end of the game. I think they can win by 12. I love the Steelers getting the points in this spot. This is probably the Steelers and the Cowboys are my two favorite picks of the weekend for sure. And over. And I love the Sunday picks. I don't love the Saturday picks at all. But the Sunday picks, I think, are tremendous. All right, now move on to golf. I think that this tournament has been fun so far. And here are the current standings. In front at 9 under is Kevin Na. Tied for second with 8 under, Ryan Henley and Jim Farouk. Tied for fourth with 7 under, Patton Kazir, Mike Thompson, Seamus Power, Kevin Chappell, and Lee Hyatong. Tied for 9th with 6 under, Tyler Duncan, JT Potson, Ryan Palmer, Corey Connors, Matt Kuchar, Jason Kokrak, and Adam Svensson. Tied for 16th with 5 under, Matt McNeely, Brett Horschel, Vince Taylor, Sahith Thigla, Andy Ogletree, Christian Ziedenhout, Dylan Wu, and Davis Riley. Tied for 24th with 4 under is a big tie. So I'm just going to go through notables at this point. Keith Hitchcock, Tyler Hogue, Sepp Straka, Abraham Anser, Brett Snecker, Harry English, Hideki Matsuyama, Evan Van Royen, Kyle Stanley, Chris Kirk, Vincent Whaley. Tied for 40th with 3 under. Cam Percy, Brian Harmon, Russell Knox, Keith Mitchell, Brendan Todd, Webb Simpson, Bo Van Pelt, Lucas Glover, Mark Leishman, Taylor Gooch, Cam Smith. Tied for 62nd with 2 under, Sam Ryder, Adam Putnam, Kevin Kisner, Saiwoo Kim, Richie Wierenski, Stuart Sink, Lucas Donald, Henrik Norlander. Tied for 81st with 1 under, Henry Higgs, Brendan Steele, Keegan Bradley, Kangkoo Lee, JJ Spawn, Joel Dahman, Charles Howell III, Emiliano Grillo, Lucas Hodges. Tied for 100th at even, Brock Stewart, Adam Long, Adam Schenk, Ryan Moore, Matt Jones. Tied for 119th with 1 over, Dylan McCarthy, Sun J M. Tied for 132nd with 2 over, Zach Johnson. And that's really it among the notables. Now I'll move on to news and notes for today. So a big story heading into the Australian Open, which begins on Sunday with the first round. Novak Djokovic's status back in jeopardy after Australian government cancels his visa for a second time, which is absolutely wild. We're going to start getting into Australian Open on the Monday show. And while we're at it, I'm going to do picks. I really don't think we're going to see Djokovic in here. And my pick to win, I'm going to go with Daniil Medvedev in the men's. And then the women's, I'm going to go with, this is a tough one for the women's side, because I think the women's side could come down to a few. And I really think that Arina Sabalenka could take it. So I'm going with Sabalenka and then Medvedev to win the respective sides of the Open. Los Angeles Kings trainer Aisha Versham became the first woman to work a regular season NHL game behind the bench against the Penguins, which was great history. She is actually a trainer. That's really cool to see. The All-Star teams came out in the NHL. The captains of each team: Alex Ovechkin, Connor McDavid, Austin Matthews, and Nathan McKinnon. I mean, come on. You knew that those were going to be the captains. Joining Ovechkin in the Metro Division, Frederik Andersen, Sebastian Aho, Zach Werenski, Jack Hughes, Adam Pelech, Adam Fox, Chris Kreider, Claude Giroux, Tristan Jarry. And then they have the nominees for the last spot as well. I can't rate them on top of my head. But I know Mika Zibanejad, Jake Gensel, Andrei Svechnikov are all up for it. Atlantic Division joining Austin Matthews, Jack Campbell, Victor Hedman, Andrei Vasilevsky, Drake Batherson, Nick Suzuki, Jonathan Huberdeau, Dylan Larkin, Rasmus Dahlin, and Patrice Bergeron. Joining Nathan McKinnon with the Avalanche. In the Central Division, Clayton Keller, Alex DeBrincat, Cale Makar, Joe Pavelski, Kirill Kaprizov, Cam Talbot, Juicy Soros, Jordan Kyrou, and Kyle Connor. And the Pacific Division joining Connor McDavid, John Gibson, Johnny Gaudreau, Leon Draisaitl, Adrian Kempe, Timo Meier, Jordan Eberle, Thatcher Demko, Alex Pietrangelo, and Mark Stone. So that's your all-star team for the time being. The USA men's Olympic team came out as well. Nick Abruzzi, Kenny Agostino, Matty Breeners, Brendan Bryson, Noah Cates, Sean Farrell, Sam Hentages, Matthew Kynes, Mark McLaughlin, Ben Myers, Anthony Mealy, Brian O'Neill, Nick Shore, Nathan Smith. Those are your forwards. Defense, Brian Cooper, Aaron Ness, Nick Perbix, Jake Sanderson, David Warsofsky, Stephen Kampfer, Drew Hellison, Brock Farber. And then your goalies, Drew Comesso, Strauss Mann, and Pat Nagel. And that is Team USA for the Olympics. This was something neat with the Flyers being in Boston yesterday. Kevin Hayes was with his nephew, the son of his late brother Jimmy. His name is Bao. He brought him to practice, and the smiles were all heartwarming. This is something strange. Joe Judge had a ton of pizza and beer delivered to his house in wake of his Giants firing. Phoenix Mercury extends offer to Kia Nurse as they give the offer to Nurse in waiving Megan Walker. So the Texans fired David Culley after one season. And also offensive coordinator Tim Kelly. They're targeting Brian Flores. He has a strong relationship with Nick Caserio. And they're also eyeing Patriots linebacker coach Gerard Mayo. Here's one of my favorite GM potential candidates. Eagles Vice President of Football Operations, Catherine Ritchie. The Vikings requested an interview for her, which is the first NFL GM request for a woman ever, which is really, really cool. I love that. So, MLB and the Players Association met as the reaction to the proposal was not positive, according to Jeff Passan. There's going to be a lot of work left to be done. Jamison Williams to the NFL Draft, as we all thought. Bulls forward Derek Jones Jr. out 4 to 6 weeks with a bone bruise in his right knee, so that's not great for the Bulls' rotation. Damian Lillard has successful surgery in Philadelphia. This was the funniest story of yesterday. There was a report out. It turned out to be a fake report from a parody account from Missouri basketball saying that they fired Kwanzo Martin, and Bleacher Report took it as if it was real because it was a verified account. And it turns out it was a fake report, as he's still the head coach at Missouri. So that was kind of wild. The Giants interviewed Cardinals executive vice president player of personnel Quentin Harris for their general manager. I like that the Giants are interviewing GM candidates first and then going to coach because they're going to let the GM pick the coach, which is great. Knicks acquired Cam Reddish from the Atlanta Hawks along with Solomon Hill in a 2025 second-round pick for Kevin Knox and a 2022 protected first-round pick via Charlotte. I think this is a nice trade for the Knicks. Cam Reddish is very young. He didn't get the proper playing time in Atlanta, and now he gets a new opportunity with New York. I wonder if they're going to start Reddish or have him come off the bench. And now New York has more assets to provide. And is this a sign that another move may be coming? I know everyone's speculating Zion Williamson because they have Reddish and Barrett. But I don't think New York wants to touch Zion with his injury history. I don't think it's worth the risk at all. But if he was healthy, sure. But he's not healthy. Sorry. And then the other big takeaway is that, are we sure this is Julius Randle's team? I mean, RJ and Cam Reddish were teammates at Duke. Mark Berman of the Post said that they didn't get along, but I think that came from a bad source. And I like Berman a lot. He's been on the show. But I don't think that report was accurate. And I think they really think that this could be RJ Barrett's team down the road, which I've been saying all along it should be RJ's team. His number 3 overall pick. And I think he's going to be a star. And meanwhile, for Atlanta, I don't like this move at all. Kevin Knox stinks. At least they got a pick that could turn out to be okay in the deal. If it's not in the lottery. Because it's lottery protected. So we shall see how that plays out. Offensive tackle Evan Neal of Alabama declares for the draft. He's projected the top offensive lineman of the draft. And after the Reddish deal, the Hawks are apparently open for business. The Bull trade got nixed because Bull didn't pass Detroit's physical. For some reason, that just doesn't surprise me. And Kyrie Irving may play full-time as the Nets have real optimism that Irving will become a full-time player at some point this season. They must think he's getting vaccinated or something because it's either that or they are going to trade him potentially for more pieces around Harden and Durant. My favorite fake trade, I keep saying this, is Westbrook Irving with a pick swap or something like that. So Kyrie and LeBron reunite, and obviously the former Oklahoma City Big Three reunite. That's the trade that I'm rooting for fantasy purposes. But I don't see either side doing that. Alrighty. Last but not least, my best bet of the day. Brought to you by FanDuel. As you know, best bet's been hot, and it's even more red hot because guess what? It's now 9-0 in the calendar year 2021. There are some options I really liked on the board, especially in the NBA. And I wanted to go with Memphis again, but I don't really like that they're on the second of a back-to-back. There's some other options I like. Looks like the Heat might be getting Jimmy Butler back. So maybe that's potentially an option. By the way, Memphis went up to 3.5. Sacramento, but I don't trust them. And what it takes me to here is the Suns. -5 against Indiana, which is where I'm going to go today for best bet. I'm going to lay 2 units on it. Suns -5 against the Pacers as my best bet of the day. No Fab Five because the football picks are playoff picks now, which I revealed earlier in the show. So if you want to see that, go check that out. I might have 2 guests on tonight. My friends Selena and Joe, who were on last year for the NCAA tournament, they want to do playoff picks. Well, they might make an appearance tonight to potentially share what they like for this weekend as well. So we'll see. And obviously Monday's show will recap the weekend, look ahead to Rams Cardinals and everything going on Monday. And I might have an activity for you on the show as well. Hope you guys have a wonderful weekend, everyone.